Our tears are abundant enough and our hearts are big enough to grieve for every life taken, every universe destroyed, whether Palestinian, Lebanese, or Israeli. It is not either or. We need one another. Jews cannot be safe if Palestinians are not safe and free.
On October 7th, hundreds of American Jews held a vigil in Washington, D.C. to solemnly commemorate the one-year mark since the Hamas attack that killed 1,100 Israelis and to condemn Israel's continued genocide in Gaza that's killed tens of thousands of Palestinians, though one study estimated in June that up to 186,000 or even more deaths could be attributed to the current conflict.
We grieve the continuing genocide in Gaza, which we as Jews, many of whom had ancestors killed in the Holocaust, recognize as an attempt to wipe a people out.
Speakers also condemned the ongoing attacks against Palestinians in the West Bank.
We grieve for the hundreds of Palestinians killed in the West Bank by the Israeli military and settlers, many of them in violent pogroms reminiscent of those unleashed against our ancestors. We grieve for Palestinians continually displaced through occupation and apartheid.
And Israel's escalating attacks in Lebanon.
It is unimaginable that a full year later, we are seeing similar scenes in Lebanon to those we saw in Gaza. Residential buildings bombed to rubble. Israeli and American officials using dehumanizing rhetoric to justify massacres of civilians and no ends to the violence in sight.
The action was organized by If Not Now, a Jewish organization dedicated to fighting for Palestinian equality. Organizers said 4,000 turned out for vigils across Boston, Chicago, New York, Los Angeles, and Philadelphia. While they mourned each Jewish life lost over the past year, their message contrasted sharply with mainstream Jewish organizations. Speakers demanded an immediate ceasefire and an end to U.S. weapon shipments to Israel.
While we grieve today, we also are taking action to ensure that there's not another bomb sent to Israel to be used to kill any number of more innocent people, and that, as American Jews, our voices need to be heard.
Among the speakers was Lily Greenberg Call, the first Jewish Biden administration appointee to resign over the U.S.'s ongoing support of Israel's war in Gaza.
I actually, I felt that, one, I needed to leave to be in integrity with myself, that I could not represent the president as he is making Jewish people the face of the American war machine and using our trauma and our pain to justify slaughter of another people, and that I would actually potentially have more power to change this and to end what's happening if I stepped out and if I resigned.
Organizers emphasized that criticizing Israeli policy is not inherently anti-Semitic and highlighted the challenge of speaking out for Palestinian rights in Jewish spaces.
And I think the greatest threat for Jews remains white supremacy and white nationalism, and it's very convenient for those people especially to conflate anti-Semitism with critique of the state of Israel, because it distracts from the real threat. The only thing that will keep Jews safe is a multiracial democracy, and there's a lot of people in this country especially who are invested in fighting against that.
Speakers emphasized Jewish safety will not be achieved through what they repeatedly named as Israel's genocide in Gaza.
We are here to really emphasize that the only way out of this is a new politics that values every single human life as equal, as dignified, and the only way to get to a thriving future for Palestinians and Israelis is a ceasefire and an end to the occupation and apartheid.
For The Real News, this is Jaisal Noor reporting from Washington.
Thank you so much for watching The Real News Network, where we lift up the voices, stories, and struggles that you care about most. And we need your help to keep doing this work, so please tap your screen now, subscribe, and donate to The Real News Network. Solidarity forever.